I'm Jared Haynes, and this is Rogue Outdoors. Today I'm going to do a review on the FlexSolo gun magnet. I ran into the FlexSolo in kind of an odd way. I was looking for a way to take my gun that I carry concealed, and when I get in the vehicle, I wanted to be able to take it out so that it's not pushing against my stomach, or if I'm carrying it in the back, it's not pushing against my back with the car seat. And so I started doing some research and looking around, and I came across the FlexSolo magnet. And basically it is exactly what it says, and we'll open it up here in just a second. It's a magnet that will stick to your gun. It has a few other features that are kind of cool. You're able to put it up in a house, on the side of a table, next to the bed, those kind of things, and hook your gun to that. So that, if you're sleeping in the bedroom and you want your, somebody breaks into the house and you need a weapon right then, gun, you don't have to run over to the safe. You can just reach over, it's secured right to the side of the bed, disconnect it from that magnet, and you're good to go. So this is kind of a cool thing that I was like, I'd like to experiment with. And so after playing with it for about a week, I'm going to give you my insight on what I think of it. Here's what comes inside the box. So you got good packaging that shows you, basically what the product is. Pops open nice and easy. And inside you're gonna have a little foam thing up on top, 15% off discount coupon, some double-sided 3M tape. Now I'll get to this in a little bit. This is what I've been using to connect it inside of the vehicle, because you also get some screws. These are about 1 inch long screw. So this is what you would hook it to the bed with, or someplace into the wall. And then these, if you're going into drywall, they've got the little drywall plugs. And then last but not least is your magnet. This is just a quick close-up of the FlexSolo. This is the textured pattern that's on there, and it works really well. Backside, totally flat rubber. It is still the rubber all the way around, and it does not hurt the slide. It doesn't matter if it's Cerakoted or just the metal itself or whatever's on your slide. It will not hurt that. And it also doesn't affect the ammunition. Almost all components of ammunition are non-magnetic, so this magnet being up against the gun won't hurt your ammo. I don't know if there's any odd ammo out there that could have something that would mess with it, but any typical ammo you're going to buy at a sporting goods store, Cabela's, Bass Pro, Walmart, any of that kind of stuff won't be affected by this magnet. FlexSolo claims that this little magnet right here will hold 43 pounds worth of a gun, and that's definitely more than any handgun that you're going to put on it, and that should be way more than any rifle that you would connect to this if you wanted to put a rifle in the closet, or a shotgun or something right on the side of the bed. So to test that, I've got a fairly heavy AR-15 platform gun right here. I'm going to take this magnet and stick it right there to the side, and let's hold on to it and see. Now, I'm not touching the gun anywhere. My hand's free and it's up in the air. It's just connected to the side, and then I'm holding that magnet. And it doesn't look like it's going anywhere. It's not sliding. Those little ripples on it are holding it. So that's the full weight of an AR-15 with a 30-round magazine in it, loaded, holding up on the FlexSolo. So I think that's pretty impressive that it can hold this much weight, and yet it comes right off. Now back to the main reason why I wanted to get the FlexSolo. So the FlexSolo, like I said earlier, I originally wanted so that I could put it into a car or a truck, whatever vehicle, and I could take my gun that I'm carrying concealed out of the holster, so that on long drives or even short drives, I don't have it jabbing into my stomach or into my back, depending on which way I'm carrying. So with a Glock, you've got the top of the slide that's totally flat. So with that, the magnet sits right on there. Put your gun up to it and it's on. It's not coming off, it's solid, not going anywhere. However, when you go to pull it off that magnet, it takes pressure, a decent amount, to get it to break free. which is a good thing because that makes sure that, you know, the gun isn't going to fall off while you're driving. However, you just have to make sure that you keep that finger indexed so that you don't slide down to the trigger as you're trying to pull it off and then boom, you know, you shoot the gun. So that's one thing to keep in mind with Glocks. They, you know, work well, click on, have a really strong connection, but make sure you have good trigger discipline with your finger. Another gun that I carry is a Walther PPQ. And on the PPQ, the top of the slide is angled on both sides upwards, and then it comes to a little flat up on top, and boom, connects. It's still solid, it's not going to come off, and that's something that I wasn't sure about, you know, if it was going to be on super solid. However, if you look here at the gun, it will rotate on the magnet pretty easily. I mean, I'm barely putting any pressure on it. And it doesn't make it so that it, you know, it'll fall off, and if you're going around a corner in the car, it doesn't, you know, lean one way and then lean the other. But the cool thing about it is when you want to take it off, you're able to lean it to one side and pull off, and you can break contact with the magnet a little bit easier. So that was one thing that I thought, oh, you know, that's kind of cool. If you're carrying a gun that has a slide that's, you know, beveled on it, that it doesn't affect the magnet, you know, how tight it holds the gun. However, it does make it a little easier to break contact. And then something like this, everyday carry gun for me, a Glock 43. Obviously, there's going to be no issues on that. That same flat slide, fully loaded magazine, light, you know, it's on there. And you can do the same thing. You can angle this over and to break contact. And that's what I would recommend when you're doing this. Have the magnet on there, grab your gun, lean it to, you know, one side or the other. For me being right-handed, I lean it into the right and then pull it off. Now you're not having to fight with the whole entire top of the slide on the magnet. So that's another thing that I just wanted to mention, you know, that I think is pretty cool. Other than that, the FlexSolo is $19.95 on Amazon. It's prime shipping, so it's a really affordable price. I would highly consider getting one for each vehicle that you're going to drive. It makes it nice to not have to have that gun here the whole time. You know, you're going to go stop and get gas, take the gun off, put it in the holster, step out of the rig, go, you know, do your thing, and then you get back in, pull the gun out, put it in. One thing that I've seen people talking about is how you can take the gun, you know, put it on here, and you can rack your slide and then, you know, pull the gun off. I'm not a huge fan of that. That puts a lot of pressure on your magnet, and I would personally say have, you know, a round chambered and just don't pull the trigger, rather than expect that in a situation where you need the gun quickly, you're going to grab it, rack that slide while it's on the magnet, and then break contact. Not a good choice in my opinion. So just, you know, think it out before you do that. But there are some people that say, you know, that's how you can carry it, and I would personally recommend not doing that. I've had the FlexSolo now for about a week, and I took it, put it into the car. I took the little 3M tape, just like you saw in the little clip earlier, put it into the side of the car, and I've had no issues with it. I would imagine that after a while that 3M tape would probably wear down, where you would have to put some other double-sided tape on there. But so far, you know, I take it, click it into the little magnet, take it off, the magnet stays stuck to the car, and my gun comes off and goes right into the holster. Now I've been doing that with a Glock 43. I did do it a few times with the PPQ, which is a heavier gun, and it didn't affect the 3M tape at all. However, that's one thing that I would say to consider, is, you know, how heavy of a gun you're going to put in there, because I didn't use any of the screws. Now on FlexSolo's website, they say to not just use the tape. The tape is actually designed for when you're using it in the house. You stick it up to it with the tape, you know, get it positioned right, and then you drill your holes. But in the car, I didn't want to drill holes into my car, so I ended up just using the tape. And so far, like I said, I've had no issues. I've sat there and just taking it on and off, on and off, on and off, kind of pulling it at different angles. Now, I didn't have the magnet and the gun pushed up against it on the top of the slide. Just like you saw in that video, I put the gun up to it sideways. So I'm pulling less surface area off of that magnet. So that's another thing to consider. Just make sure, however you do it, you have it set up right. But, I've been super happy with it. I think it works great. I would still recommend for sure having one in every single rig. And I will definitely be putting one into, a few of my other vehicles so that I have that ease of just taking the gun out, clicking it in there. It's secure in the car, but yet it's still easily accessible. So if you have any questions, please comment down below, like and subscribe for more content, and I'll see you in the next one.